Hello, everyone. This is my introduction to the Pantry Challenge for 2023. I am an educator who lives in mainland China in a high-rise building. So I'm not a homesteader, I'm not a prepper, but over the last 3 years, I've spent a lot of time worrying about and preparing for lockdowns that are related to COVID. And in the last couple of weeks, the COVID has swept through mainland China, and legislation and rules and procedures have really changed. So I want to let go a lot of that fear. I no longer am worried about being taken away to a COVID facility if I test positive, which I did over Christmas break. And I'm no longer worried about being locked down in my apartment or in my building. To give you some context, the longest time that we were locked down was during the original 2020 COVID. 98 days is what we spent at home. And during that time, one person from the household was allowed to leave the apartment every other day for staples like food and water. We were lucky because we lived close to the compound entrance and were able to get deliveries at the gate and sort of grab deliveries at the gate. So that was actually a pretty peaceful lockdown. But since then, we've had a number of 7, 14, and 21 day lockdowns where we've faced a lot of restriction and frustration in getting things like food and drinkable water delivered in or purchased. Part of that is language barrier. Part of that is the rules differ from neighborhood to neighborhood and compound to compound. So anyway, I am married. So there are 2 people and 3 cats who live with us in our apartment. This is Lily. And when I plan and stockpile over the last couple of years to be prepared for these lockdowns and just to soothe my anxiety to make sure that my family is taken care of, I have planned for 90 days of food for the cats and for ourselves. The orange and white cat is Mars. She's our Indonesian kitty. Lily and Charlotte are our China kitties. So, and then drinking water is something that I definitely have a lot of anxiety about. I try to keep at least a month's worth on hand. And, in a pinch, yes, we can drink the water from the tap. It's just not something that we prefer to do, just for health and well-being reasons, because of construction standards here. So, this is Charlotte. She's the baby of the family, and she will probably make the most appearances in the Pantry Challenge because she always wants to be around her mother. One of the main reasons why I'm doing this challenge is to let go of the anxiety and to clear out what has become a crazy stockpile of food. So you can, not crazy, just a lot. So you can see in the next pictures, this is half of my desk. And because we've had to work online a number of times over the last couple of years, having a stockpile of food on top of your desk is not the most conducive work environment. But we simply do not have the space for large-scale food storage. But it is what it is. This is the other half of the desk where you can start to see some cat treats make an appearance there too. But so we have one more academic year left on our contract. So in about 16 months, we will be preparing to leave this apartment, leave this country, and seek a new adventure. So in an effort to not waste anything and not have that anxiety of lockdowns hanging over my head anymore, the Pantry Challenge is going to help clear this all out. This is the top of my refrigerator from one side and the top of my refrigerator from another side. So lots of snacks, lots of pantry items. And then we have a few storage cupboards in the kitchen. This is sort of the dry goods, where we keep a lot of staple items. And this is where you'll see like seeds and dried fruits and dried veg and things like that. And then staples for bread making and oatmeal. And the upper left-hand corner is all of the bars that my husband prefers to eat. So he stockpiles his snacks there. This is the bean and drinks and oils and spices cupboard. So there's quite a lot of food to get through here. There's also, I think, this is an example. This is the high rises that we live in. So we do not live in a homestead. We don't have access to like gardening spaces or anything like that. We just live in a high rise compound. So these are what our buildings look like. The storage space is super minimal. Our refrigerator and desk area that you saw the stockpiles of food on are in the middle of our main living area. So I want to not waste food, eat the wonderful things that we have, enjoy eating them, and sort of downsize and minimize what we keep on hand regularly. So those are my goals for the Pantry Challenge. The rules that I have for myself are that I will consume free food if it's offered at work, like once we go back to school after the New Year holiday. There's often snacks or things that need to get used up from the canteen that are on offer. And our canteen staff is so lovely and so kind. When they offer something like fruit or yogurt or treats or whatever like that, I'm not going to turn them down for the sake of the Pantry Challenge. I also, it's Chinese New Year time is approaching, so there will likely be a few social obligations that we need to attend to during that time that include food. So if it is a work or social obligation related to Chinese New Year, I'm not counting that as part of the Pantry Challenge. I'm also not imposing any rules on my husband. I have talked to him about the Pantry Challenge. He's aware that when I make dinners, I'm going to be trying to use up what we have. He's aware that I'm not going to be doing any grocery shopping. But if he wants to order his favorite cheese that he eats every day, or a treat, or carry out lunch, or whatever else, I'm not going to stand in the way of that. I'm not fussed about that. My goal is to use what we have at home for the meals that I'm cooking and consuming, and he consumes the meals that I cook in the evenings. So it sort of will work itself out in the wash. Any other rules? Not really. That's it for now. I'm just going to try and make it 50 days without grocery shopping. And I do have a fair bit of stockpiled frozen fruit and veg, because this is something that I think about during the time that we were worried about COVID lockdowns, is you can't just survive on oatmeal or flour or tinned beans. You want to be able to enjoy what you eat. So I have a lot of things like frozen pumpkin puree, edamame, frozen mixed veg, frozen mixed berries, lots of homemade applesauce that is in the freezer, and homemade dried apples that I dehydrated from my big apple order in the fall. So there's plenty of good food to be had, and I'm really excited for this challenge to be able to use it and use it creatively and eat well and live our best life for the next couple of months. So good luck to everybody else doing the challenge. I'm super excited to watch and see all of your videos.